It's true. Okay, good answer.
Yeah.
Would you do it again if you had to?
With you?
With anyone? Okay, with me. Would you do it again? Well, I know that answer.
I would only ever want to be with you forever. But yeah, I would do it again.
Sapphics and allies, you're listening to Queer Women Rising. That's women with an X because we are inclusive here. When we hear the stories of queer women who have gone before us, we see evidence that there's nothing we can't do. And yes, we can too. It's time for you to level up in life, in love, and step into your most authentic, abundant reality. You won't be the same after this episode. It's your turn to let go of good for greatness. Your best life is now loading. Let's rise.
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 Are you ready for another Morning Voices podcast episode? From bed?
From bed.
It's a crazy day. It's election day, actually. We get to go vote after this. That's exciting. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
You're so shy.
What do you want me to say? Take that out.
You don't have to be shy. It's just a show.
I'm waiting for your introduction.
Okay, introduction. Me and my beautiful girlfriend are laying in bed doing another Morning Voices podcast episode. She is so wonderful to me, so patient, so kind. And we're about to U-Haul together, which is exciting. Although it's not really a U-Haul because we've been friends for a year and we've been dating for 6-7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call it a U-Haul, but I'm really excited about that. And today she wanted to turn the table, that's the words, turn the tables, and interview me. What? Yeah. Okay, but I have no idea what you're going to ask me, but I think I'm going to enjoy hearing the questions that you came up with. Like, that's just going to be different. Okay, but why do you want to interview me?
I think that it's just an idea because I think for your followers and people that are listening to your podcast, like, you're always asking the questions. You're always guiding, like, trying to find other people love and do all that. And I think that what a lot of people don't know about you, I know a lot about you. And I think that the most, yeah. And I think that it's important to get deeper with you so that people can see, like, how, like, if people only knew you. And
you think they don't know me?
No.
What?
I think you give just a portion of you, and there's a very, deep side of you under there that you're still not giving, even though you give, like, super great advice and everybody trusts you.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Like, yeah, give super great advice.
You do.
Unqualified.
There's so much about you that I think can be unearthed by certain questions.
Okay. Well, I'm down to be vulnerable with it.
Yeah,
so.
You're going to have to be. And yeah.
I also want to say, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, just for a reference, me and my girlfriend are long distance, as I mentioned before. Yeah. She is 17 years older than me. And I just came out of the closet like 4 years ago. So this is my second, like, real lesbian relationship. And my girlfriend's been out of the closet since she was in her early 20s, and she's 49. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Ready?
I am.
You don't even know what to... It was part of the rules that you didn't even get to know the questions.
I didn't want to look.
Okay, so it's just starting easy, okay?
Oh, starting easy? Okay.
Okay, number 1. How do you think one prepares oneself to be in a healthy relationship?
Oh, that's really a good question. I think the first thing to do would be asking yourself why the last relationship ended in a way that you contribute. Like, what did you contribute negatively towards your last relationship? Because every like there could be a really, really toxic situation or really, really icky person. You could be cheated on, for instance, and there's still things that I can reflect on that I could have done better in last relationships, right? So
Yeah. So did you took the time to reflect?
yeah. Like,
what did you do when, like, how did that process work?
I just thought, okay, well, in what ways did I perpetuate toxicity? Like, one is simply by allowing and not like holding a boundary. But two, it's like at a certain point, I think we've all been there. You fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, especially for people as spiritual as us, like asking God to help you not react that way and not be mean and not get on that level.
Yeah.
No matter how much it hurts. Yeah, no, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. But yeah, that's the first step would be reflecting on what you did wrong. So that way you know what to never allow in your next relationship. You know what triggers to look for. Like, okay, what happened that let me have those really awful reactions? And then you can also reflect on what you did right. Because I know I gaslit myself of like, wait, I must have done everything wrong. Like at some point it was like, okay, I'm defending. Like I know that I didn't do anything wrong here. And then you get gaslit so much where it's like, you feel like you did everything wrong.
I know. When you and I first started talking again for the little bit, I was like, remember I would call you on it. I'm like, no, don't gaslight. Don't gaslight yourself.
Yeah, and I'd be like,
you would
no.
gaslight yourself all the time.
Yeah, I'm like I'm asking for too much from her.
Yeah.
I'm just going to like accept this.
Yeah.
So stupid.
And then just the undoing of like just your own self-gas. Like you were so used to someone telling you that you were a certain way. So you were believing it.
Yeah.
And I had to keep telling you that you aren't that. It's just how that person's responding to that. Right?
And I'm so grateful that you were there for that. Like that phase of our relationship where it was friendship and you were like helping me regain confidence again, that I wasn't like losing it.
Yeah.
So important. But yeah, so I'd be reflecting on like, what did you do to contribute to things? What will you not allow in your next relationship? And what did you actually do right that there was no way that that person would have recognized it or reacted in a positive way towards what you did right? So
Yeah.
If you've been gaslit, then you gotta
Totally.
go through that. Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Ooh. Well, I wasn't thinking you were going to turn them on me.
Well, I mean,
This is
other
about
than like
you.
the obvious, like, okay, go to therapy.
I think, yeah, for sure. I mean, take the time. I was single for 5 years on purpose. Like I was just like, I'm not going to date. I'm going to work through my shit. So I had a pattern of I've never had a toxic relationship until the most recent one, like before you.
Yeah.
But just like people that were triggering my childhood trauma or something like that, I would always have that. And then I was like, oh my God, am I like dating my mom? And, you know, I was having all those things. So I was just kept repeatedly dating people that
So you're the older woman, but you would date your mom too.
No, I was always the younger woman in relationships. Mostly,
Wow.
you're the first person that I've dated that's younger. Well, that's significantly younger. Where was I with that? I think that, yeah, so I was like, I need to break this pattern. I recognized that was my pattern, that I was trying to fix things by being with people that were who I thought fixable. So what I knew best was, say, these issues, right? Someone who was angry, someone who was mentally ill or had something wrong with them. I would go right in there because that's what I was used to as a child. I'd go right in there and then be like, I can fix this person. I can just love them while they change. I can do all that. So I think we all date from our level of self-love.
Yeah.
And that was just me needing to find that all that time. So I took that time, that 5 years, to do the work. And then recognize that I didn't have to be with someone like that. And then the universe gave me another test, and I took it after 5 years. I shouldn't have, and that's, I did. Fell for it again. But I can say in that relationship, I was the best girlfriend I've ever been. So what you were saying about what you did right and what you did wrong, when you can say I did everything right and know that that's the God-given truth and the relationship didn't work out, you can walk away with ease at that point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I've certainly had relationships where I've done things wrong, but I wasn't such a good reflector then.
No.
I was always, deflecting. But
so you were like avoidant back in
I
the
was
day.
then, yeah.
That's so crazy.
I know.
It's the opposite now.
I know. Okay. You're done with that question?
Yeah.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone just starting to date long distance?
Oh my gosh.
Because you're like Queer Country Club, probably 9 times out of 10, the people that are falling in love are going to be long distance. So what?
Let's not say 9 times out of 10. I don't know about that.
You think there's a lot in your own?
I mean, yeah, if you're in like if you're in
like
a city,
major city,
yeah, you're gonna find people close to you. But yeah, I mean, the reason people come to Queer Country Club is because they haven't found love in their own backyard.
Yeah.
Which, shameless plug, my lesbian dating platform. That is so different than anything out there. A hybrid between a social country club, lesbian dating platform, and live events. And it's beautiful. I love helping women fall in love. Okay, so go back to the question. I got into my little ad.
Into your ad. What advice would you give to someone just starting to date long distance?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so we started long distance. We're still long distance, but we're moving together. I'm so excited. No longer have to be away from you every night. The best advice that I would give is to get clarity immediately from yourself. How capable are you of being patient to be together? And getting clarity from your partner. What does it look like? What is our 1-year plan? What is our 2-year plan? Up to whatever. Like, what does that look like? Does it mean that we see each other if we're only a few hours away? Do we see each other on the weekends? Do we see each other twice a month? If you're a long plane ride away like us, it's okay. Do you see each other every 2 weeks to every month to every 3 months? Like, what does that look like? I think having, and in every relationship, having expectations out of your mouth and not just in your head will reduce a lot of problems. And especially in long distance relationships, having something to look forward to is necessary. Mm-hmm. So deciding, okay, we're going to get through holiday season with our families, but then we'll be together again at the beginning of January feels like, okay, I can do that because we have a plan. But if it was just like, oh, we won't get to spend Christmas together, that would be like gut-wrenching. Mm-hmm. But because we have a beautiful plan for New Year's, it's like, okay, we can do that.
Yeah, and you specifically love a plan.
I do. I love
because I think that generally people can do long distance for many, many years and like just whatever. And I know some people in long distance that haven't seen each other for 6 months.
That's a bit much. I don't think I can make it, but I like regular sexy time. So that would work.
And I think it's important too. What I've realized is like, because I don't necessarily need a plan. I'm like fly by your seat, by the seat of your pant type person. So you know that I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll just come next week then. I don't need the plan. But what I mean, this is more an answer of what in relationships, I know now, and what makes, I should have said this about a successful relationship too, is that changing your actions to be the person that your partner needs you to be. You know, like being, whether if, like you said, if your style is one way, like an avoidant style or whatever, to try to fix that, to do that. So in this sense, because I know that you need a plan and you like that safety of knowing that security, I've always from day one have made sure that there is a plan. Yeah. And that you know that. And I usually leave here with another flight booked.
Yeah.
For when it is, because that keeps you calm about the whole situation, where I don't need that.
Yeah.
I can just book it 2 days before I come, but I know that your nervous system needs that.
Aw.
And that you kind of need to know that things are happening on a certain day.
Well, especially because I am very busy.
Yeah,
like
totally.
If I wasn't as busy, I would just like a plan, because I like a plan. But I am extremely busy.
Yeah, because we really winged it in the summer, for sure, with like plans and dates and stuff. But I think that was different for you. I don't think that you do that.
Well, I also hadn't, like, Queer Country Club had just launched.
Yeah.
Now I'm like
Now you're in
growing.
the thick of it.
Yeah,
totally.
it's like insane how many new members we have, and I'm just trying to do my very best to make it the best place it can be. So I do work a lot.
Yeah. So, but I feel like you've always loved a plan.
I do.
You love a good,
I like
you love a
smiling
good-
as you say it. Like I'm like
love a
Grinch
good-
level smiling. Like I love a plan.
You love a good list.
I love a good list. That gets me wet.
It's true. Okay,
does.
good answer.
Yeah.
Would you do it again if you had to?
With you?
With anyone?
With you?
Like, with me, would you do it again? Well, I know that answer.
I would only ever want to be with you forever. But yeah, I would do it again, because long distance has given us the ability to get to know each other like so deeply without, like, the physical and the sex is amazing, and it's like the cherry on top of a cake that we carefully baked.
Yeah, totally.
Like
we built the foundation
yeah, we built such a
by being long distance.
yes. And I think that might not work for some people who are who need that sexual connection faster. I'm like very demisexual.
Yeah, me too.
Like I need that emotional connection first. So it was just perfect where we got to get really, really, really close. And then by the time we came together, then the physical interaction just makes sense. And like that desire is like really there.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Moving on. Number 3.
Oh, how many do you have?
Oh, it's like 6.
Okay.
I know, because we're going fast, aren't we? What is one lesson you learned from a previous relationship that you carry with you?
Oh gosh, that's really deep, babe.
I told you it's gonna get heavy.
Don't push someone to do something they don't want to do, because if they wanted to, they would.
Oh,
Yeah, I spent
that's
like
good
over
one.
a year of my life with someone trying to make them fully commit to me and leave a very bad situation. Love a good woman in the closet. God bless. Yeah, and no matter how good I was, there would have never been a day that it would have been enough, like enough security, enough compared to like leaving a super, 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 super rich guy. So yeah, like I would have never been enough, and I should have taken that and just ran with it and not been sad, because I spent a lot of my time being really sad.
Yeah.
I'd say a year and a half of my life I spent being super sad. And no one should feel super sad and go to bed sad.
Yeah.
Like literally feeling lonely in your relationship.
Right. Yeah.
That's the worst feeling.
No, for sure. I think that obviously comes from being with someone that has a whole husband, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a normal situation. Like, we would never give that advice to straight people to be dating someone who has a whole wife.
No.
Or anything like that. But it's different for some reason. But I think
It's
that's
different
why-
because like there's people who are literally trapped in the closet
Yeah.
and like it's not what they want either.
Yeah.
But that's why the platform that I've made is like so like monogamy, because if you accidentally fall in love with somebody who is partnered and you're a monogamous person, You're going to go through hell.
Yeah.
Because the damage is already done. Like, you're already connected. So it makes it so painful.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that bit of advice applies to everything.
Totally.
Like, even in my last full-blown lesbian relationship where I thought I was in, like, a serious commitment.
Yeah.
It's like, if that person wants to, they will. Yeah. And they will show you who they are. Believe them the first time.
Yeah.
And, like, don't make excuses for, like, terribly awful things. Or, like, if your stomach's like, why isn't this person, like, showing me more? Why isn't this person posting me on social media? Which is so different because you're not on social media.
Right.
But, like, why isn't this person doing this or that? There's a reason.
Yeah.
And it's a bad reason. So, like, if you feel a little sick feeling, it's not just you being insecure. It's someone's not wanting to go all in the way you want to go all in. Mm-hmm. And that will make you completely sick.
Yeah. So that's a type of person that maybe you were choosing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I wonder what do you call that type of person?
They're just saying if you go after unavailable people, that you're chasing the feeling of being chosen over the feeling of peace. And that's so true. You know, like you were likely chasing those people to choose you just for that feeling of wanting to be chosen. Probably even, probably just it, because they hadn't. One couldn't. She had a husband.
Yeah.
And, so it would have felt really good to be chosen.
Yeah.
In that. And even in the other one. Would have felt really good to be chosen, but, I think that's the key is you do the work to be able to be in a relationship with someone who chooses you. And when you're in that relationship, to recognize that person chooses you and never take that for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love getting to go to bed with you and, like, not questioning
anything.
Like, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just you hug me and it's like, I'm not getting this hug because you're giving me an apologetic hug. I'm not getting this hug because you're making up for something. I'm not getting this hug because you feel like you have to comfort me because you made me sad. Like, I'm getting a hug because we love each other. It's like the weirdest thing, totally. Actually.
And I choose you. Oh. That's why.
I love you.
I love you. Okay, number 4. What's the part of you that you discovered that you didn't know existed? In the last, it could be whatever period of time. Like, maybe in your single time, maybe that's a good, I don't know how long you've spent single, but what is the part of you that you discovered that you didn't know existed? I mean, you've changed so much even in the last few months. Like,
really?
With like, standing your ground, boundaries. I always thought you had good boundaries, but now seeing you in business and, like, how you're developing with that, and
I don't fuck around.
Not taking on, like, anyone's bullshit.
No,
including mine.
You don't give me much bullshit.
So something that has come out of you that even surprises you. Like, there has to be that. I know for a fact that you've been like, holy shit.
Well, I never saw as a coach, I knew that I needed, like, a few people to help me with things, and so I had a few team members, and now I see that 6 team members is, like, a lot to manage and a lot to hold. I feel like I've stepped up into a different leader. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm responsible for making sure that every single one of these clients, hundreds, soon thousands of clients, are taken care of. So it's a different level of leadership, and a different level of defensiveness for my business. No one better mess with anything because I've got about 6 great lawyers.
I really noticed that you, like, when the Instagram thing happened and stuff, it wasn't, I remember one of the very first things that came out of your mouth was, like, I have these people to feed, right? Like this isn't about me. You like right away you were comforting that you're like, it's okay, I'm still gonna pay you.
Aww.
You know, all that stuff. You were doing that, like you were just, I think, really good to them. You were really worried about paying your employees and not cutting back their pay, and recognizing that it is really important that you keep that up, and you were going to dig into savings if it meant, you know, if everything was gone, you were going to dig into savings and like build it back up again, paying them so that they could stay. And even the people in your platform, you really do, on the back end, I see how you care about their love stories.
No.
And like how truly excited you are when you do get those success stories, because you love more than anybody I've ever known has loved love. And
like Disney princess fairy tale.
Yeah. Exactly. And on the opposite spectrum, I see how upset you get when someone misplaces your passion for that. Like when you get someone on your platform that like says something negatively.
Yeah, it's rare, but
how hard you take that.
People are fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Unappreciative.
Their own, you know, they can't get a date, so they take it out. And I've seen how upset you get.
Yeah. Look,
when
we're grown-ups.
Yeah.
I can't make people love you, but I can try my darndest.
Yeah. So you're so passionate in both ways. Like,
I really care. Yeah.
Thank you. And you love these stories. Like if people in Queer Country Club, if more people could come forward and tell all their little, like, even just if you met someone, your dating stories, all that, like, you would just be so happy for them.
Yes. I usually, when people come forward and share like that they met someone, I'll send little voice memos back on Instagram when they DM me.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you've met someone, please share with us or call into the podcast. I can't remember the phone number to call in right now because I'm in bed. But if you look in the show notes of this episode, you'll see it, to call in and share your love story or ask for advice.
Yeah.
We'll do more episodes like that. But yeah, back to your question. I feel like in the last 6 months, it's as if, like, I felt like I grew up when I built the social media academy, but now it's like I've bossed up.
Yeah. You
like,
really
it's just a different level of everything. And with that being said, I'm also really focused on finding balance. Like, I'm excited for you to move here and for us to have regular date nights. And I've really, in the last few months, gotten clear with myself and boundaries on I have to find more spaces for rest in my world because for my health.
Yeah. That is probably something that your listeners don't even know, is how hard you work. Like, I think it's pretty obvious on your socials and stuff, but actually whatever anyone thinks you work, double that.
Double that. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, and I used to think that was something to be proud of. I used to think that, like, saying you work hard is something to be proud of, but in reality, not that hard.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I learned that, like, with manifesting and law of attraction and all that stuff. It's like, because I always used to say that I didn't need, like, any favors coming to me because I am really lucky that I have this really great job that I can work really hard at and support everyone around me. And then I started thinking, like, what terrible wording to say, because like, just because you're able to do something doesn't mean that's your destiny, right? Like, so you're right. I think that we're always
working
like
smarter.
We're just always like, you know, oh, I work really hard, and that shows. What is that? Remember that piece of art that I had in my office that I took down since we talked about it? And it was like, I didn't get success, I worked hard for it, or something like that.
And I was like, or like,
because I forget, it was like but it was something like essentially saying you have to work hard to succeed.
And I was like, you gotta take that down.
I recognized right then, it was like, that's terrible wording, and it's been in my office for like 14 years.
Oh my gosh. But you are a great example of working smart.
Now.
Yeah.
And I always tell you that because I think that that's important for you to know, that there is the, you know, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
And you learn.
I'm on the
jewels.
rainbow.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we're like creating AI and all kinds of incredible things inside of Queer Country Club. Like there will be Sapphic Sophie that you get to talk to.
Yeah.
Tell her what you're looking for in a partner,
That'd be
and
amazing.
she'll be able to match you. So virtual matching on another level. But like even all of that, excuse me, I have a yawn. People would say like, oh, like you're using AI, so that should make it so much easier. But what people don't realize is the back end of that in the training of AI and creating a place that truly is working for everyone is a big feat. So
Yeah. You're doing amazing things.
thank you, baby.
Sophia Spallino, LLC.
LOL. You always say that.
And sometimes it's just your identity, so I just...
You're just like, there she is,
There she
Sophia
is.
Spallino, LLC.
Totally.
You crack me
It's
up.
your identity. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Are we moving on?
Yeah, wait. I'm just like, what other ways have I grown though, other than just work?
Or like things that have surprised you. Talk about like even in a relationship, like how you've dealt with.
Oh, I have
me.
really strong boundaries
like-
with my family.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
So
not
with your
gonna
family?
just tolerate. Like I love them, but I'm not going to just be silent about things that are important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gotten to a place where I'm just like, nope, I will say it like it is. If that's how it is, then we will say it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to silence things that hurt people. If you
Yeah.
want to hurt people, you can hurt people, but we're going to talk about it.
Right. And is that not something that, like your family wouldn't have expected that from you? Like in my experience with what I see now is like it kind of has opened everybody up to knowing more of what you need from them, you know?
Yeah. Like I say, like I need to feel loved. I need to feel
Yeah.
accepted.
Yeah.
I don't want to
And
feel
like-
tolerated, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But when I do feel tolerated or not accepted, I actually say it.
Yeah.
Rather than just like backing away or not like talking to someone, I say it.
Right.
Yeah. Doesn't always make things better.
No,
But
at least
it's
you said
not
it.
like suffocating who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good.
All I can say is I love my mom.
Yes, for
She
sure.
doesn't partake in any of the bullshit.
Yeah.
So
Okay, and what about in a relationship, like your relationship with me? What has something that you discovered that you didn't know existed? Or something, like maybe even how you reacted to something that maybe even surprised you in a good way? Like you're like,
Yeah.
wow, you know, we talk about this all the time. We just talked about it this morning, like when there is repair needed and how, you know, like how you can come back
Yeah.
and feel good about something that you said or did. Like, wow, I was able to come back in 10 minutes. And I
Yeah.
usually it takes me the whole night.
So like
Right,
last
like-
night I got my ego bruised and I wanted to like run away, just be like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, shut down, blah, blah, blah. And you did exactly what I had told you I need in those moments. So like we had already talked about like what happens when you go through something. What do you need from me? What do I need from you? And I told you when I try to pull away, that's when I need more hugs and kisses. And you pretty much like just hugged me for like 20 minutes, even though I was like being like a little rock.
Yeah. You
It's like stone cold.
With a
ego
wall.
bruised.
rock with a wall.
Yeah. And you just like laughed with me and like tried to, like, you didn't discount my emotions, but you were like trying to make light of like, okay, like I know you're in like your little wall mode right now, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna kiss you.
Yeah.
And like that meant so much because it meant that I could actually stay and not run away. And not have a
So
worse
did it surprise
reaction.
you that you didn't like run away, that there was quick repair? Or were you
No,
like,
because
okay,
I
this
have
is
been
good?
capable of that before.
Yeah.
But only if
The other person
my
is-
partner is like consoling and
Right.
like wants to hold me close when I try to pull away.
Yeah. It's funny because I forgot about that. I forgot that you even told me that's what you needed. It was
I
just...
thought that's why you did it.
No.
Tell the people that's why you did it, because you were listening to me.
Well, I was, obviously, but I mean, it was just like that's just healthy communication. And in any relationship, that's how it should go, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of things, and you say about your ego, but I don't think that, like, I think that's the thing, is that when something happens, people take it that way, and it's just usually just a miscommunication or something off, and it can just be fixed
Yeah.
fast, and that's a choice. And that's what I was saying last night. I'm like, this is a choice, right? Like, we can let this ruin our whole night,
Yeah.
or we can switch. It's that easy.
Yeah. And you just cuddled me till I was ready to
As
like,
long as you're
off.
not just, bypassing, and which we weren't. We had the discussion,
Yeah.
and then you can move on, right? It's time.
Then we had sex. It was great.
We had hot sex.
It was so great.
So that's how you do it.
Listen to my older girlfriend give that advice.
Okay.
First you cuddled, then you scissored.
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to have sex?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really vulnerable considering that my son sometimes listens
Well,
to you.
tell him not to listen to this episode. Click off now, kiddo. If you're still there, you're
We're giving
disobeying
you
the
a
rules.
I'm giving you one more with 10 seconds till you... It's funny because one of my other kids asked him if he's still... Because one of them, who was just obsessed with us.
I love it. So sweet.
And then the
He's
oldest...
like, y'all are compatible because blah, 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 blah.
All of them. Totally. Remember, he said, well, that's the youngest one. He sent the compatibility things and then told us how we were.
So
That was cute, but
sweet.
this is the other one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
But then the other one was, like, question him if he's still listening to every single podcast of yours.
He does.
And then he was like, he just got, like, kind of, like, shy about it or whatever. And then he's like, no, I only listen to the ones with mom in it. but
no,
But
kid. I would never call you kid, by the way. I just don't want to say your real name.
yeah.
Click off.
Yeah, so I'll tell him.
That's
So
so
hopefully
cute.
he doesn't listen to any of them.
But for
favorite way?
reference, your kids are grown. Like,
Yes.
they're not like underage children.
No, they're all over. They're all legal.
Yeah. Okay.
So
How do you like your
if you're
pussy
18
pleasured?
If you're 18 or under, turn this off. I mean, there's so many ways, and I
Dude,
think,
quit
like,
beating around the bush. Literally,
And-
pun intended. Except there's no bush here. Go.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, we've I like. Well, yeah.
You're so shy. You're so cute.
I'm like, I don't even know how to say this. Like, the scissoring thing is, I think, something that your generation does. Something that older generation, like,
What do y'all do?
you always say that, but what we used to make, like, so I'm 49, we would make fun of the lesbians who would scissor.
What?
It was always an older lesbian thing. So the people, like, probably when I was your age, I would have been like, oh, 49-year-olds just scissor. Like,
What?
it was something that, like, older people did. And then we were always, like, the younger generation. I think that's probably when strap-on sex started, and
Which
obviously just
we've yet to do, because
yeah.
I'm just not.
No,
like,
exactly. Neither of us are, like, super into that.
I don't need anything. I mean, no judgment if you do. Maybe one day I'll, like, be into it, but I don't need anything that's, like, boy-shaped near me.
Yeah, I don't think of it that way, but
See, most lesbians don't. Like, y'all are...
yeah,
Like,
'cause
y'all
it's
like
just
it.
a modality, right? They use it for that, but I don't like penetration. I never did.
Maybe
so it
that's
doesn't
my
even matter.
trauma.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we need to
There we
talk
go.
about that in therapy.
I like the typical, like, going down on someone and someone going down on me, that kind of thing. I like like, that's how I can mostly have an orgasm. And what I like with you and, you know, in that whole sense of that is, like, finding different ways to do all those things. The things that you like and the things that I like. Because, well, we know that you like the scissor, even though it's just an old people thing.
It's
it's now a young, it's like me. They brought it back and the younger generation does it now, so it's whatever.
There's another word for it, though.
Is there? Yeah.
I think it's called
my
tribbing.
Kids, yeah, that's right. My kids know it too.
Yeah.
They've brought it up.
Because it's like a different angle of scissoring.
Yeah. Like scissoring, just, I don't know about that name.
But
love tribbing doesn't sound good either.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean...
If that's an old lesbian thing, then I like an old lesbian thing.
You and I think, by nature, have different styles of like, what we like, but it really, really works.
We always do everything all in one session.
Exactly. So it works. And again, like...
It never ends.
Going back to, you know, doing what you know is your partner's thing, and you go to that, and, like, it's not going to kill me to scissor. Like,
I think
I do enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. So, if that's something that you like, then I like it. It's that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was fun. Had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe you answered it.
I don't think I had an option.
Okay. Any last questions for me?
There's two more.
Oh.
The last one's just a fun one. So this one, in what ways has your understanding of vulnerability changed in your relationships over time? Like, you being vulnerable.
I think being in this relationship where it's true friendship as a foundation, you have no choice but to be vulnerable, because we're not just having this surface level or sexual connection. So the vulnerability I feel with you is like, you can read me. That changes everything, because there's no point to try to...
Yeah, you have said that when we've talked about things. You're like, well, I did, because I'm like, well, you didn't need to tell me that. And you're like, well, I told you because you could read me.
Yeah. Like, there's no point to even attempt trying to sugarcoat anything or... Yeah. Like, if I have a question I'm going to ask, if I need to say something, I'm going to say it, because I feel like you'll feel it. Yeah. I feel like connected soul-wise.
Yeah. So you're feeling safe with being vulnerable?
Yeah.
Yeah. And had you not been that way in past things? Like, how has it changed?
I think I feel safe being vulnerable and also terrified being vulnerable.
Yeah. Because
you don't mean to, but you hold so much power. Because
I think anybody does, right? So giving our heart to anybody, the other person holds that much power.
Yeah.
Whether we think so or not.
I'm like so scared, because I mean, I'm 32. Up until this point, nothing worked, right?
And I'm 49, and up until this point, nothing worked.
Right?
Even
so, like,
worse.
now you have to go all in with your person, or there's no chance. And when something feels so good, and you know the feeling of, like, peace, and you know the feeling of healthy, the idea of that going away is more terrifying than anything going away.
Yeah. And I think that's the hardest part, is maintaining that and recognizing that your fear. And you and I had this discussion, I think yesterday or the day before, whenever we were driving, about how that fear gets in the way and sabotages. Right? Because it's so scary to be vulnerable with someone.
Yeah.
And to think that you have to be all the time. Like, I think that's normal. I think recognizing that you're afraid, or that whatever reaction is coming from a place of fear.
Yeah.
Is such a good response.
I think one thing that keeps coming up for me is being vulnerable about, like, living together, like living with someone after I've lived alone for so long. And I think one of the most vulnerable things I could say is I am nervous about that only because of what I do, like being on camera all the time. Like I'm always perceived. And with you, I'm like deeply perceived because I feel like you can read me so well. Just like by look, you could probably look at the back of my head and read me. And so I think knowing that it is safe for me to go, hey, I need alone time, or hey, I don't want to be perceived right now. Like knowing that I can do that in advance is like, okay, that's some safety, because the vulnerability is so strong.
And I think that that's important anyways when people talk about moving in together, is knowing that we're both people who require their own space, whether we think so or not, because we love being together.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that about you, and I think that it's important that you say that you need that, and that I say that I need that. And I've always been fearful of taking space in relationships.
Why?
Because I was always with people who thought that me asking for space was a reflection of them and not that I needed it. Right? So it would just cause so many like problems in the relationship that I would never take the space that I needed to just replenish myself. And then I'd just sit there. Physically, I'd be there, but emotionally, I wouldn't be. And then we all know how that ends.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. So I'd rather just be communicative about it and say that you need the space when you need it. And I think we do that even like being here and me being in your space. Like, I just feel like I know you must be like, well, I need my space, but you can't even get it. So I'm really
I have
aware
a very
of that.
small space.
So I'm aware of that, and like, take a longer bath, or, go out for a little bit longer.
No.
Yeah.
I actually love being with you every minute, though. I know.
But when we live together, we will need space.
True. Right
It's
now,
important to talk about.
when I see you, I miss you so much that, like, I don't want you to have space. I just want to,
Yeah.
like, pretzel
Yeah.
attached to you like a little baby kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what I'm learning, like vulnerability, there's something to it. Like, it's easy to see how a relationship can be successful with vulnerability.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
I think that's key to making one work. Something I've never been in any of the relationships I've been in. So allowing myself to not get my guard up when your guard's up, to do all these things, to just like show up for you.
Yeah.
Instead, like this generation's greatest philosopher says, Taylor Swift.
Oh, I love you even more. That was hot.
That I feel like I've been sleeping in a 20-year dark night.
But now you see daylight.
Yeah, it's just like we go through these relationships after relationships, just putting our walls up and not being vulnerable. And I think that's the answer, is vulnerability. You can't be with someone unless you're your true, authentic self, and that requires true vulnerability.
When you look back, it's like people begged you for that.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Do
and
you
there was
think
no
that
way.
you just weren't into them enough, or you were just too busy?
Probably a mix of both, but definitely too busy. When you're, I told you, I'm like often like how you are, just building so many things, and I've never been able to rely on anybody except for myself, and supporting others. So it was just not a choice. Like I could not give that side of me. I couldn't have anybody take that bandwidth, that I had. So I was just always really, really guarded and protected.
I'm honored that you put your walls down for me.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't even been like a choice, just has been. I think that's a huge part of what makes our love story.
I love you.
I love you too.
You look really pretty right now.
Thank you. Okay, your last question.
Okay.
If your relationship was a Disney love story, which Disney movie is it from?
Duh. Frozen
one?
3. You'd
Frozen
be Elsa's girlfriend that we know exists, but we haven't gotten to see yet.
Oh.
Because I definitely
You're
am like,
convinced that-
let it go, let it go. I like straight up go to the mountaintop by myself, like in isolation. That's
Do
me.
you?
Yes. Like, I think the world thinks that, like, I must have, like, a bunch of friends and because I'm so bubbly on social media. But in reality, I'm just like a little bear in a cave, hacking away, building things.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I've been hurt. I came out of the closet, didn't feel acceptance. Like, I relate to Elsa so much when she, like, takes off and builds her ice tower. And she's like, well, I'll be out here where I can't hurt anyone.
Okay, so the love story is the one that's made up in your head that Elsa's going to be a lesbian?
Oh, Elsa is a lesbian. Do you not see the pantsuit? Do you not see the pantsuit
No.
in Frozen 2, baby?
Yeah.
When she jumps on
But
that
doesn't-
horse and she's
someone
like,
wearing a
yeah.
pantsuit doesn't mean they're a lesbian.
I mean,
Is that? That's
it's
stereotyping.
the best gay signal. I love a power
A
suit.
good power suit.
Yeah, it's hot.
You're so funny.
Love a power suit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What existing Disney story that you haven't made up in your head about lesbians is like if it were like a
like a
love
prince
story.
and
yeah.
princess?
Yeah.
Princess and princess?
Princess and princess, and it wasn't so straight Disney. Which one would it be? Like
Would
a
be
Cinderella
my fairy
story?
tale?
Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Okay, yeah, that's a cute one.
Because she's still like, she comes from like the strict family.
Yeah,
And
right.
she's got to like see the real world.
Yeah,
I
she
relate
chose.
to that as being a homeschooled in the closet little girl.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Plus tits. Love Ariel's boobies.
So we've gone back to the lesbian thing.
Yeah.
It's always a circle back to lesbians around here.
It's so funny. People probably think that like that's just something I do for social media.
No,
You're like, no,
not.
make her stop.
this girl only talks about lesbian things.
Can't help it. What about you?
You have lesbian fever. I haven't even watched all of them, as you know, but I think like a good Cinderella story.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was just,
You just like to go shoe shopping with me, is what it is.
yeah, I think that's a sweet. I think, yeah, my generation would probably be like, oh, Cinderella. Definitely.
Cinderella is wonderful. She used to be my favorite. I used to have like a Cinderella necklace that my dad had made me when I was 14.
Yeah.
I probably still have it. I'll show you. All the Disney princesses. That's the thing. Like, I'm so girly gay that like all the most heteronormative things are like gay to me.
Yeah. Totally.
Like, I've made it gay. Like, I think a lot of queer people will go towards just more androgynous cartoon characters or like characters that carry masculine energy. And that's wonderful, but I just have completely just grabbed what I loved, which was Disney princesses, and was like, we're gonna make them gay in my head. Like there was nothing needed.
Did you
to
make
be,
them scissor? Were you that girl that Barbie was scissoring with another?
honestly, I didn't know
another
anything
one?
about sex when I was younger.
No, so
right?
nothing like that happened.
I knew about straight sex for reproduction purposes only
Yeah.
within the marriage, sacred marriage, man and woman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't corrupt and putting Barbies together in the middle of their legs.
I don't think so. I do think I made them kiss though.
Yeah.
And do you remember like those big Barbie heads? They were like big.
Yeah.
And they had like the
makeup
hair.
ones and
Yes.
stuff, yeah.
I had a relationship with mine and I'd kiss her. I did. She was my imaginary friend.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said that out loud
Imaginary
before.
head.
Yeah. I'd make out with it.
How old were you?
That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. Do you have to answer that?
years ago.
No, between like 11 and 14.
Okay, that's not embarrassing.
I mean, that was near high school. Mm-hmm. That's embarrassing.
No, it's not.
It is.
You're
I was
good.
lonely. I was
You're
homeschooled.
good. She was your friend.
She was my special friend.
I love it.
Oh my God. I love
All
you.
right.
Thank you for these
End
great
this.
questions. You're like, end it. It's getting weird.
Totally.
Guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. Let me clear my morning voice 1 second. God bless. Thank you for listening to the Morning Voices podcast episodes that I do with my girlfriend. If you want more of these, please let me know that you like them. Give us 5-star ratings on Apple, on Spotify. Leave something nice. And if you're interested in joining the Queer Country Club, we'd love to consider having you inside. It is application-based process. We need to make sure that you're there for the right reasons. You've got a growth mindset and you are seeking monogamy. Okay, that's it. There is no playing around, dating multiple people, or being polyamorous. Nothing against our polyamorous friends. I've got plenty of them. They even support me in this endeavor because they're like, yeah, I totally get it. There's platforms where you can find hookups or platforms where you can find polyamorous relationships. But that is not the Queer Country Club. So DM me the word apply on Instagram if you're like, yep, I think this is for me. And if you want to learn more about it, just DM me Queer Country Club or go to queercountryclub.com. Can't wait to share more about the club with you. And I hope that you have an amazing day. That's it. Go start your day. It's not going to be as good as our day starts because you know what's happening after this. Bye.
As queer women, that's women with an X, because of course we are inclusive here. As I was saying, as queer women, we haven't always been lifted up or celebrated. We have often felt left out and put down in places that historically haven't welcomed us. In fact, we have been conditioned by society to be grateful for mere tolerance. My resilient LGBTQ+ IA community, I am talking to you. I'll bet you've recognized the spark that God put in your heart. Your unique calling to impact the world in only a way that you can. A business idea, a brand to build, a coaching program to start, the art to create, the song to sing, the book to write, that relationship you long to build. But that little light inside your soul has often been blown out by the people around you, leaving you conditioned to play small and not step into your full potential. You are not alone, and it's never too late to truly live your most authentic dream life. I would know. I came out late in life, nearly 30, a couple years ago, after being bullied for months inside a country club. Right outside of my weights class, I was assaulted by a bigoted woman who couldn't stand my queerness. She physically pushed me, so I had a meeting with management. I told them I didn't feel safe. I brought forth evidence, and guess what? They did nothing. Sadly, this is normal. But in order to create change, we have to be brave enough to be the change ourselves. So I did a thing. I started my own virtual country club for queer women. A safe place for us to create meaningful connections and grow. So if you're looking for a love connection, networking opportunities, or coaching to live your best freedom life, you want to apply to be a part of our incredible community of purpose-driven, passionate queer women. Join Queer Women Rising, the online queer country club for growth-minded women ready to level up in life and love. To apply, DM me the word rising on Instagram at Sophia Spallino or chat me the word rising on sophiaspallino.com. Now, beyond hosting Queer Women Rising, I am a personal brand coach and social media strategist. If you give me a moment to tell you about what I do, I can share how I can help you. Just like I've helped many clients before get famous online and make more money. If you're an exhausted coach or service provider, ready to scale your business for real, or you're just getting started building your dream brand from scratch, and if you're ready to build your own profitable personal brand, I can show you how in 6 months or less. But why should you take my word for it? Well, I've spent over 10 years in the social media marketing industry, amassing over 400,000 followers across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as hosting a top charting podcast, building a successful service provider business, and coaching powerful women to build purpose-driven, profitable personal brands. Yeah, I have the social media and sales process strategies that can help you finally make the money you deserve. Because I want to help you build your dream business that gives you time, freedom, and makes real money. So for a limited time, I'm giving away your first steps to go from less than 5K months and advance to 10 to 20K months. Grab my newly revamped, profitable personal brand blueprint, my proven framework to build yourself a personal brand that motivates, inspires, and sells so that your business can thrive the way it should. Just go to the link in the show notes. Whether you're a novice at creating or you're feeling stuck, hitting a plateau in your business that once had consistent revenue, and need guidance, support, and coaching to get to your next level, I invite you to book a strategy call to speak with either me or my team to see if we'd be the right fit to work with each other inside of the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Mind you, I am extremely selective, and this coaching program is not for everyone, and I'm not afraid to say it. I am only taking on serious, purpose-driven, and committed queer women and allies inside of my community. If that's you, book your free strategy call. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel yourself come alive and love listening to Queer Women Rising, please leave me a 5-star rating with a kind review wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to share the show with a powerful woman you know. And remember, when you're called to do something greater in life, love, or business, you will be uncomfortable until you move. So get up and go get what you want. Let's rise.